Tyler, before we get to the Drake May part of all of this, hard to believe, but the Patriots have back-to-back winnable games here.
I know. What is this, 2017, 2016 with Tom Brady? It feels like ho-hum. Patriots can win back-to-back games with no relative problem. So, no, certainly an exciting period in this schedule. And it's a spot that I think we kind of looked at prior to the season when we're trying to parse out where the Patriots are going to stack up wins-wise for the season. This was kind of the pocket, starting in London against the Jaguars, obviously against the Jets, and now the Titans this week, and even Chicago next week. I know that Caleb Williams is starting to come on, and the defense for Chicago is very good, but that's a team that, has a young quarterback, could certainly be clipped here. So this is a interesting part of the schedule here for New England to really kind of establish the culture that we've been talking about pretty much all season under Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, it'd be the first time the Patriots would be winning back-to-back games if they can pull off the W on Sunday. But everything right now is focused around Drake May and his health status. And the Patriots seem to be hopeful that they can get Drake May back for Sunday. They haven't outwardly said that, but it seems as if he's trending in the right direction. So if he is available to go, Tyler, is it the right move to put him back out there?
Right. So there are 5 stages of the NFL's concussion protocol. And it's not like in the injury report, the Patriots say what stage Drake May is in, but you can kind of piece together a little bit where he is within that protocol. It kind of feels like he's in stage 4 as of yesterday. He was spotted at the beginning of practice. That would kind of indicate to you that he might be at that stage in the protocol. And then after that, you have to get cleared, obviously, by the medical professionals. And then we'll see what happens in terms of his playing availability for this weekend. But to go to the question of should the Patriots play him in this regard, I go back and forth. He is your number 3 overall pick, your future in the organization. But so you do kind of want to be a little bit more cautious with someone of that value. But at the end of the day, if he is cleared, the NFL has a very good concussion protocol at this point in their history. I kind of would lean on the medical professionals and say, if he's cleared to go, he's your best quarterback. He is your best chance to win football games. So I would put him out there in that regard.
Now, he got hurt while he was on the move. So do you think the Patriots will try to curb Drake May's running attempts to avoid something like this happening again?
I don't know if necessarily they'll curve them or tell them to do things a little bit different. I think that this is just a coaching moment because Alex Van Pelt talked about it yesterday, I believe, that though they won't necessarily drop design runs. That's not a core belief of his for the quarterback position because of the injuries, but I don't think it's necessarily going to stop them from telling Drake May to use his legs, because that was one thing that was very attractive about him as a prospect coming out of UNC and going into the NFL draft was not necessarily that he's Jaden Daniels, where we've seen him have design runs and really make tremendous plays with his legs, but he can extend plays with his legs and really help move the football in terms of throwing it by moving around the pocket, in throwing the football on the move. So those are the things that I think that he should be encouraged to do. Now, in terms of the things that you can kind of phase out of him a little bit is, learn to slide a little bit earlier, maybe not go on the run in certain situations. Don't necessarily lean on that. Only use it as a break glass in case of emergency type of scenario where it's fourth quarter, gotta have it, 3rd and long, or things like that. And that's the coaching moments of a young quarterback and the things that you can look at and say, hey, listen, we love the effort, but you are more important to us on the field than converting a first down in the first quarter in a given game. So it's those type of moments that you're going to go through with a rookie quarterback with that type of skill set. And I don't know if they'll necessarily phase it out of him, but they'll tell him to pick his spots a little bit better.
So here's a question about the matchup itself, Tyler. Whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Drake May out there, a quarterback, do you feel that the Patriots are the favorite in this game against the Titans, who are 1-6? The Pats do have one more win against opponents as compared to the Titans.
Well, technically, they're not the favorites if you're looking at the betting odds. So the odds makers would tell you it's the Titans' game to lose here. But I do think this is a very winnable game for the New England Patriots. The question will be is, for me, how well can they fare against this defense? Because as much as we're going to kind of dog on Tennessee and say they're not a particularly good football team this year, they have been good in spurts, specifically on defense. I believe they're allowing the fewest total yards per game, the fewest total passing yards per game in the NFL. So there are pieces there that you would say, okay, this could pose some problems for New England. The key here for me is whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Drake May, it's going to be their success in the red zone, because this is one of the areas where the Titans struggle a little bit. As much as I'm saying that they allow few yards and all of that, they're second to worst in the NFL in points per game allowed, 28 per game this season. And part of that reason is because they struggle in the red zone, bottom third in the NFL in red zone efficiency. So if the Patriots can get into the red zone and find success, similar to what we saw last week against the New York Jets at times, I think that that's an avenue for them to win.
The second biggest thing in our world, I mean, I think you have to go number one, the election coming up on Tuesday. But also on Tuesday is the NFL trading deadline. And Joshua Uche, he was traded to the Chiefs earlier this week. And the Patriots are one of those teams that, a lot of contenders will be looking at to say, okay, here's a piece maybe that we can try and acquire to bolster our team. Who else do you think on this Patriots team is on the block for the trade deadline?
I know, busy day on Tuesday. Really, it's just whichever way you look, it's going to be a busy day. But for the Patriots, in terms of how they can manage the trade deadline, a few names to keep an eye on. I would say at the wide receiver position, Kendrick Bourne is someone who I think that is been a great player for New England and is a good, locker room presence and all of that. But I think he might be better served on a team. I would say maybe the San Francisco 49ers. That's a team that he used to play for. They have a clear need at the wide receiver position. I think that that's an interesting pairing there. The wide receiver position has been one that's really seen a lot of movement leading up to this deadline, and Bourne doesn't match up to the caliber of a Devontae Adams or Amari Cooper, but he would be a strong addition to a contender down the stretch. You could maybe even say the same thing about KJ Osborne, has been kind of phased out with this team, kind of even outright talked openly about a trade the other day as well. So it seems like he might welcome it, and if he's not a part of your offensive scheme right now, he's someone that I would pay attention to. The other name that's been thrown out there quickly has been Jonathan Jones, and he's been a great player for New England in the secondary over the last few years, a real leader in the locker room in my opinion. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to go down. Defensive coordinator DeMarcus Covington kind of shut those down. He admitted that he's not involved in trade talks, but he was talking about Jonathan Jones being a part of the future of this team. So, maybe tipping the hand a little bit for a guy that's been in trade rumors. Maybe he's going to stick around after all.
All right, well, a lot to keep an eye on Tuesday, but as it's related to the Patriots, maybe some more names off the roster that we know and have gotten into over the years, just like was the case for Uche. Tyler, appreciate the time as always, and thanks for joining us. We'll see if the Patriots can put it together back-to-back games. All right, you can join us for Patriots All Access tonight at 7 on WBZ as we go behind the scenes of Sunday's big win against the Jets. And then we have you covered on Sunday. Patriots game day at 11:30 on WBZ, right here on CBS News Boston. Games at 1 o'clock, and then you can check out the fifth quarter post-game show right after the game on TV 38.